Sarah pushed the front door open and let her keys fall onto the wooden table with a sharp clack. She didn't turn on the lights. Instead, she just sat there in the heavy silence of her suburban home, her chest aching with a weight that wasn't even hers. Her own day had been fine, yet her mind was a battlefield of other people's tears and broken stories. She was exhausted from a life she wasn't even living. Why does being a good person feel so draining? Sarah walked out to the porch and saw her grandfather in the backyard. The sun was starting to set, casting a warm, golden glow over the green lawn. He was slowly watering his hydrangeas, the rhythmic sound of the water hitting the leaves being the only noise in the quiet evening. "Grandpa?" Sarah called out, her voice sounding thin and tired. He turned around, his eyes crinkling into a soft, knowing smile. He didn't ask why she looked so pale or why her shoulders were slumped. He just waited, giving her the space to speak. Sarah sat on the wooden steps, hugging her knees. "I don't understand," she began. "I try so hard to be there for everyone. Today, I spent my lunch break listening to a coworker cry about her struggles. Then my best friend called, sobbing for an hour about her divorce. I listen because I care. I want to be a kind person." She looked down at her hands, which felt unusually heavy. "But now, I feel dark. It's like I'm carrying all their misery inside my own chest. Why does being a good person make me feel like I'm drowning?" The grandfather turned off the hose. The sudden silence was peaceful. He walked over and sat beside her, the fresh scent of wet earth filling the air. He didn't judge her for being overwhelmed. Instead, he looked at her with pure compassion. "You have a very big heart, Sarah," he said gently. "But even the kindest heart can become a heavy burden if you don't know how to carry it." The grandfather stood up and walked toward a shaded corner of the garden where an old plastic bucket sat. It was filled with thick, stagnant rainwater and dark mud from the recent storms. He reached into a nearby gardening crate and pulled out a brand new, bright yellow sponge. "Sarah, take this," he said, handing her the clean sponge. "I want you to drop it into that bucket of mud." Sarah looked at him, confused. "But Grandpa, it's brand new. Why would I ruin it?" He simply nodded toward the bucket. "Just for a moment. Trust me." Reluctantly, Sarah knelt by the bucket and pressed the sponge deep into the murky, black water. She felt the texture change instantly. The sponge grew heavy in her hand. When she pulled it out, it was no longer yellow. It was a dull, dripping gray coated in thick slime. A faint, earthy smell of decay rose from it. "Now," her grandfather said quietly, "take that sponge inside and wipe down the kitchen counter, or perhaps use it to clean the porch windows." Sarah frowned. "I can't do that, Grandpa. If I touch anything with this, I'll just leave a trail of mud everywhere. It's useless for cleaning now." The grandfather looked at her with a gentle, piercing gaze. "Exactly," he replied. "And that is what you have been doing with your heart." He sat back down beside her. "You think that by soaking up everyone's pain, you are being kind. But look at the sponge. It didn't make the bucket of mud any cleaner. The bucket is still full of mud. All that happened is that the sponge lost its yellow color and its purpose. When you absorb the darkness of others without a filter, you don't save them from their misery. You only become a vessel for their emotional waste. You become so heavy with their stories that you no longer have the light or the strength to actually help anyone." The grandfather took the muddy sponge from Sarah's hand and turned the hose back on. A steady stream of clear, cool water hit the sponge. washing away the grey slime until the bright yellow colour slowly returned. To truly help someone, he began softly, you must remain clean yourself. People often confuse empathy with compassion. Empathy, in its raw form, is jumping into the stormy water because you see someone else drowning. But if you both drown, Sarah, who is left to pull the other to safety? He looked out at the garden, his voice as calm as the evening air. Compassion is different. Compassion is standing firmly on the shore. You see their struggle, you feel their pain, but you keep your feet on the dry land so you can throw them a rope. You are the anchor they need. If you let their emotions pull you under the surface, you lose the very strength required to pull them up. You simply become another person who needs saving. Sarah looked at the clear water flowing over her grandfather's hands. But how do I stay on the shore when I care so much? She asked, her voice a quiet whisper. By building a filter, he replied. Think of it as a protective layer. You can listen, you can hold their hand, and you can offer your heart. But you must always remember, their story is not your story. Their pain is a guest in your heart, not a permanent resident. You must learn to witness the grief of others without making it your own identity. He turned off the water and squeezed the sponge dry. It was light and clean again. It is okay to walk away from a conversation and breathe. It is okay to protect your peace. Doing so doesn't make you cold. It makes you a better healer. You are a light in their darkness, but for a light to work, the flame must stay dry. He patted her hand gently, his eyes full of wisdom. Always remember this. You cannot light up the world if your candle has been extinguished by the tears of others. Keep your light protected, and you will be able to guide many more souls through the night. From today's story, we learned that having a kind heart doesn't mean becoming a container for the world's pain. To be a good sponge, you must know when to wring out the dirty water. Your empathy is a gift, but it needs a filter to keep you strong. If you are currently carrying a heavy heart, leave a white heart in the comments as a promise to care for your soul starting today. Stay calm, stay mindful, and remember to protect your light. May you find peace in every step.